call is now being recorded.
Good morning, friends. Today we are going to take up some numerical problems on set off and carry forward of losses. In the last class, we looked upon the rules and regulations, the framework within which the set off and carry forward of losses have to be done. So now it's time to take up some numerical problems and let's solve each one of them one by one. The first problem of the day. Let's take up the first problem of the day. During the previous year 2019-20, Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta has the following income and the brought forward losses. So this is the information of Mr. Ramesh Mehta for the previous year 2019-20, and this one they have also given the last year's forward losses. So the long term capital gain was rupees 10 lakh. The long-term capital gain was rupees 10 lakhs. The short-term capital gain on the sale of shares was 15 lakh rupees. And the long-term loss of the previous year 2019-20 was 5 lakh rupees. And short-term capital loss of a previous year 2018-19 was 14 lakh rupees. So this was the this was the this is a problem. Let's solve it. And before we solve the problem, let's take up some rules and regulations, and let's take up how many years they can be carried forward. The losses which were not able to set up because of unavailability of sufficient profits or gains. Some losses should be carried forward or are meant to be carried forward. And let's see how many years they can be carried forward. So house property income can be carried forward for 8 years. Normal business loss can be carried forward for 8 years. Speculative business loss can be carried forward for only 4 years. Specified business losses can be carried forward for indefinite period of time. Long-term capital loss can be carried forward for 8 years, and short-term capital loss can be carried forward for 8 years. And loss from the activity of owning and maintaining of horse races can be carried forward for only 4 years, except a speculative business loss and loss from the activity of maintaining and owning of horse races are carried forward for 4 years. Except this, the rest are carried forward for 8 years. And in case of specified businesses, it can be carried forward for a indefinite period of time. So with this theoretical background, let's start solving the problem. So the problem is in front of us, and let's solve it. So long-term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees. Short-term capital gain is 15 lakh rupees. Loss of the previous year as far as long-term capital loss, which is carried forward for 8 assessment years, is carried forward this year for set off. And short-term capital loss also of which is of last year can be carried forward and set off against profits for 8 assessment years. Okay. So first one, long-term capital gain. So long-term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees. So this is the first one. Let's brought forward long-term capital loss of the previous year, which is 2018-19. So this can be carried forward and can be set off against similar kind of income, which is income under long-term capital gain, and it can be set off against the current year 10 lakh rupees capital gain. So this loss of the last year, which could not be carried forward, can be set off against this year's long-term capital gain. So 10 lakh rupees can be carried forward against 10 lakh rupees of long-term capital gain. A long-term capital loss of the previous can be carry forward and set off. Carry forward and set off. So we have set off against this 10 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees loss, and eventually the long-term capital gain this year is long-term capital gain is 5 lakh rupees. This is number one. Number two is this year this assessee has made a short-term capital gain on sale of shares of rupees 15 lakh rupees. Okay, 15 lakh rupees. So this is the first step, and subsequently In the last previous year, that is the previous year 2018-19, there was a loss, short-term capital loss uh, to the tune of 14 lakh rupees. So this 14 lakh rupees of short-term capital loss of the previous year is carry forward and set off against short-term capital gain of the current year, that is 2019-20. So this loss of 14 lakh rupees is set off against this profit of 15 lakh rupees. Okay, so now this is set off, 14 lakhs is set off, and 5 lakhs is set off. That is short-term capital loss is of total 14 lakhs is set off, and long-term capital loss of the previous year is fully set off. So long-term capital gain is 5 lakh rupees, and out of 15 lakh rupees of short-term capital gain, 15 lakh rupees, sorry, 14 lakh rupees of the previous year loss of short-term capital loss is carry forward and set off against this 15 lakh rupees. So the short-term capital gain for this year is only 1 lakh rupees. So the total taxable capital gains is 6 lakh rupees. 5 lakh rupees is the long-term capital gain, and 1 lakh rupees is the short-term capital gain. This is the way this particular problem has to be solved given the terms and conditions, rules and regulations under set off and carry forward of losses. Hope you have understood it. Let's take the second problem. The second problem speaks about the assessee is Mr. Ramesh Kumar Mehta, and during the previous year 2019-20, here the following incomes and brought forward losses. So there were some incomes this current year, and there were losses which were not able to be set off in the last year has been carried forward this particular uh, current assessment year. Sorry, and we'll see how to solve the problem. So here the first point is the data says that the long-term capital gain is of current year is 2019-20 is 10 lakh rupees. Number one, short-term capital gain on the sale of shares is 15 lakh rupees 2019-20. And during the previous year 2019, 18-19, the long-term capital loss was 15 lakh rupees. And the short-term capital loss of the previous year 18-19 is 14 lakh rupees. From this given data, we have to find out uh, what is the total income by adopting carry forward and set of losses. So first is long-term capital gain. The long-term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees. So this is okay. Now let's talk about the third one, which is long-term capital loss of the previous year, which could not be set off. Now this is carry forward and it is set off during the assessment year 2009. It could not be set off. So this is carry forward to the assessment year 2021 or current year 2019-20. So this 10 lakh out of this 15 lakh rupees of capital loss, we are able to set off against this long-term capital gain 10 lakh rupees only, because that long-term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees, and so we can set off only out of this 15 lakh rupees of long-term capital loss, we can set off only 10 lakh rupees. Hence, because of this reason, the long-term capital gain is zero, and the remaining 5 lakh rupees of long-term capital loss can be carried forward as per the uh, rules and regulations and terms uh, of Income Tax Act 1961 under set off and carry forward of losses. So out of this 15 lakhs, 10 lakhs has been set off. Number one. So it can be carried forward for 8 assessment years as already shown in the previous slide. Next one. Now the short-term capital gain on sale of shares is 15 lakh rupees. Number one. Number two, against this, we can set off the previous years 2018-19 short-term capital loss of 14 lakh rupees by carry forwarding the same amount and setting it off against the short-term capital gain of the current year. So the current year short-term capital gain is 15 lakh rupees. Against it, we can set off a short-term capital loss of 14 lakh rupees which is of 2018-19 previous year. So 14 lakhs is set off. So the whole amount of 14 lakhs is set off. So the remaining short-term capital gain out of 15 lakh rupees after adjusting by setting carry forwarding and setting off for 14 lakh rupees is only 1 lakh rupees. So long-term capital gain is 0 and short-term capital gain is rupees 1 lakh, and hence the total capital gain is 1 lakh rupees. So hope you have understood. Please remember the whole of this amount is fully set off. So this amount is fully set off. Out of this only 5 lakhs could be set off because the long-term capital gain is uh, 10 lakh rupees. So out of 15 lakh rupees of a long-term capital loss, we can set off carry forward and set off only 10 lakh rupees. Now this 5 lakh rupees which is not able to set off can be carried forward for set number of assessment years as already shown in the previous slide. One doubt which can arise here is, sir, why don't we set off this 5 lakh rupees against the short-term capital gain? No, as per the rules, it is already indicated that long-term capital gain can be set off. Long-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain only. Please remember, long-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain. Number one, short-term capital loss can be set off against short-term capital gain and as well as long-term capital gain. So as this is not permitted, short-term capital loss is not permitted to be set off against short-term capital gain. So it is not set off. So this is the way the second problem has been solved. Let's take up the third problem. The third problem is Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta has the following information of income and brought forward losses. Number one, income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses. So this guy is having an income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses for the current year 2019-20, and he has earned a profit of income of an income of 5 lakh rupees. Number one. Number two, brought forward losses from the activity of maintaining and owning and maintaining of horse races during the relevant financial year was 2018-19 was 15 lakh rupees. So according to rule, this can be carried forward for 4 assessment years. So 4 assessment years are 1920, because 1819 was first assessment year in which it could not be carried forward. So 1920 is first assessment year. Okay, so this is 1920, 2021, and 21-22 and 22-23. So we are in the assessment year 2021 only. So this 15 lakh rupees loss can be set off against this amount of income from the same activity of owning and maintaining of horses. Or as already told in the previous classes, that the loss from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses can be set off against income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses only. It can't be set off against any other income. So this 15 lakh rupees, out of this 15 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees can be set off against the income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses. So we will subtract only 5 lakh rupees, and the remaining 10 lakh rupees will be carried forward, and it will be set off as and we have to look for the rules for how many years it is going to be set off. So this is number 2. Number 3, profit from chemical business. So this guy was doing a chemical business, and this guy earned a profit of 10 lakh rupees from that chemical business. So business profits from and gains from business or profession, under this head of income he has 10 lakhs of profit. So the total income of this guy, S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta, for the financial year 2019-20 is 10 lakh rupees. Now a question arises, sir, why don't we set off this loss of 10 lakh rupees from uh, the activity of owning and maintaining of horses against chemical business. As already told, that the loss from the activity of maintaining of horses should be and must be set off against profits or incomes from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses only. So that's the reason why we can't set off this loss of 10 lakh rupees against this income from business, which is profit from chemical business. Hope you have understood. So in this case, the total income of the assessee S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta is only 10 lakh rupees. So let's take up the next problem, which is the fourth problem. The problem goes like this. Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta furnishes the following information and the brought forward losses of 2019-20. Income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses is 5 lakh rupees, and brought forward losses from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses relating to financial year 17-18 is 15 lakh rupees. Profit from chemical business for the current year is 10 lakh rupees. In the same way, there was a loss. The brought forward loss from chemical business of previous year is 2017-18 is 20 lakh rupees. So I let's do the problem. What is the capital gain and total gain and total income of Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta for the assessment year 2017, 2021. So I forgot to mention the steps to be followed. First is intra income. Next one is inter income, and then finally we should go for carry forward of losses. Carry forward of set up and carry forward of losses. Let's do the problem. So here, first one is income from the activity of maintaining of horses of the current year is 5 lakh rupees. So there was an income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses. So number one. Number two is there is a loss to the tune of 15 lakh rupees from the similar business of maintaining and owning of horses 15 lakh rupees. So this 5 lakh and this was of 2017-18. So this can be carried forward for 4 assessment years, and the 4 assessment years are 1920, 2021, and 21-22, and 22-23. So we are in the assessment year 2020-21. So this can be set off against uh, this year's income from the activity of maintaining of owning and maintaining of horse races. So against this 5 lakh rupees, I can set off only 5 lakh rupees, and the remaining is the one which cannot be set off because of inadequacy of profits. So this will be carried forward for another 2 years, 2 assessment years. So this is the first half of the problem. Second half, profit from chemical business of the current year. So this is the profit of the chemical business from the current year 2019-20. Number one. Number two, in the assessment year, sorry, in the previous year 2017-18, the chemical business brought forward losses were 20 lakh rupees. So this is carry forward and set off this amount of 20 lakhs rupees can be carried forward for 8 assessment years. So what are those assessment years? So this loss was of 2017-18 previous year, that is assessment year 18-19. So it can be carried forward for 8 years: 1920, 2021, 21-22, 22-23, 23-24, 24-25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 25, 26, and 26, 27. So 8 years it can be carried forward. So this can be carried forward in assessment year 2020-21 also. That is what is our primary motive. Whether I can set off this amount in the assessment year 2020-21 or not. And yes, it is allowed. But look at the profits which were generated from the chemical business during 1920. It's only 10 lakh rupees. So against this 10 lakh, 20 lakh, 10 lakh rupees, the brought forward losses of previous year 2017-18 can be set off, but only it can be set off to the extent of 10 lakhs only. So the remaining 10 lakh rupees of 10 lakh rupees can be carried forward for the said number of years, and we have to look at the rules. So in this case, there is no income because all the incomes were set off against the other income. So in this case, the loss from the business of owning and maintaining of horse races was set off against income from similar activity, and the remaining 10 lakhs could not be set off because of inadequate income. And profit from chemical business was to the tune of 10 lakh rupees this current year, and the brought forward losses were set off to the tune of 10 lakh rupees, and hence the un so the loss still which has to be carried forward is 10 lakhs, and there was no other income for setting off this. So hence, because of this reason, the total income of the assessee as Ramesh Kumar Mehta is only zero, and they can carry forward this 10 lakh rupees as well as 10 lakh rupees of chemical business loss of 2017-18 for respective number of years, and for this you have to look at the rules. Next one, probably this is the fifth problem, and the fifth problem goes like this. So the assessee is Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta, and he has furnished the following incomes and brought forward losses. Income from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses was 50 lakh rupees. Brought forward losses of owning and maintaining of horse races of 17-18 relevant, the relating to this particular loss was relating to the financial year 2017-18, 15 lakh rupees. Profit from chemical business of the current year is 20 lakh rupees, and brought forward losses of chemical business. So this is the same problem if I'm correct. Okay. So there is no point in doing this problem. The same problem. Okay. Next one. Let's take the other problem from and try to find out the total income of Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta. Yes, Ramesh Kumar Mehta. Okay. Let's do the problem. The following information is furnished of the assessee S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta for the previous year 1920, and here the following incomes and brought forward loss. As income from salary is 5 lakh rupees. Number one. Number two, income from house property 4 lakh rupees. Income from house property 2 is 2 lakh rupees, and the loss from house property 3 is 1 lakh rupees. There are no carry forward brought forward losses. So all these incomes or losses are of a current year, that is 2019-20 only. So first step is inter-source adjustment. Sorry, intra-source or intra-head adjustment. Intra-head adjustment. So first one is salary income. This is salary income. Second one is income from house property. This is the first heading, income under income from salary. Second heading, income from house property. One is 4 lakh rupees. Income from house property 2 is 2 lakh rupees. So there was total income of house property to the tune of 6 lakh rupees from house number 1 and house number 2. But however, there was a loss from the third house property to the tune of rupees 1 lakh rupees. So under intra head adjustment, which is step number 1, so this 1 lakh rupees has to be set off against this income of 6 lakh rupees of the similar source of income. So against this 6 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees is deducted or set off, we call it. So total income from the house property is 5 lakh rupees. And income from salary was 5 lakh rupees. So 5 lakh rupees is the income from salary, and 5 lakh rupees is the income from house property. And the total income for Assessment year 2021 of the SSC is rupees 10 lakhs. Let's take up the next problem. The next problem is Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta has furnished the following information regarding his income and carry forward losses. I don't know, I don't see any carry forward losses. It is only about the incomes and losses. Okay, let's solve the problem. So total income from salary is 5 lakh rupees. Income from speculation business is 10 lakh rupees. Loss from speculation business is 8 lakh rupees. Short term capital is 2 lakh rupees. Long term capital gain is 3 lakh rupees. Winning from lotteries is 2 lakh rupees. Income from from the activity of owning and maintaining of horses is 5 lakh rupees. So only there is one speculative loss of 8 lakh rupees. And let's solve the problem. So sorry, this is a loss from speculative business. And let's solve the problem. So you have to go step by step. First one is income from salary. Next one is income from house property, from income from business. Next one is income from capital gains and income from other sources. These are the headings. Salary income, number one. Salary income, house property income, business income, uh, capital gains, and other sources. And as far as this is concerned, there are three. As far as business incomes are concerned, there are three: speculative business income, non-speculative business income, which is also called as normal business income, and last one is specified business income. Specified business income. So one, two, three, four, and five for intra head adjustments. Let's solve the problem. Okay, income from salary. What was the income from salary? It was 5 lakh rupees. It was 5 lakh rupees. So that is the income from salary, and it is kept under the head income from salary. Income from speculative business. So first we are going for intra head adjustment, or within the same source adjustment, intra head adjustment. So in this case, there is a business income and speculative in nature, and the total income was 10 lakh rupees. But however, during the year, there was a business which was carried out by the assessee, which was a non-speculative business, like an ordinary business or a normal business, and he made a loss of, sustained a loss of 8 lakh rupees. So please remember the rule according under intra-head adjustment. The rule says that speculative business loss can be set off against speculative business profit only, and speculative business loss cannot be set off against any other income, including non-speculative business income. Number one. Number two. However, non-speculative business loss can be can be set off against non-speculative business profits, or as well as speculative business profits. Very, very important. I am repeating once again for the purpose of understanding, and this is very, very important rule. So please remember these rules, very, very important rules. The first rule says that as far as business is concerned, speculative business loss can be set off against speculative business gains only, and you should not look for other things. Non-speculative business loss, that is called as normal business loss, or regular ordinary business loss, can be set off against non-speculative business gains or profits, as well as speculative business gains. So this is the rule. You have to remember this. So let's solve the problem with the given data. Now, the speculative business profits in this case was 10 lakh rupees. However, non-speculative or normal business profits, losses, non-speculative business losses were 8 lakh rupees. So this non-speculative or ordinary or normal business loss can be set off against speculative business gain. So under the intra-head adjustment, which is the first step, I set off this 8 lakh rupees against this income of 10 lakh rupees. So after setting off 8 lakh rupees against 10 lakh rupees, the remaining income from speculative business is only 2 lakh rupees. Third one. Third one is short-term capital gain. Under capital gain, 2 lakh rupees. Long-term capital gain, under capital gain is 3 lakh rupees. To total 5 lakh rupees is the capital gains. Winning from lotteries, this is income from other source, which is 2 lakh rupees. And income from the business of owning and maintaining of horse races, or activity of owning and maintaining of horse races, is 5 lakh rupees. So 5 plus 2 7, 7 plus 2 9, 9 plus 3 12, 12 plus 2 is 14, and 14 plus 5 is 19 lakh rupees. So the income of the assessee is Ramesh Kumar Mehta for the assessment year 2021 is 19 lakh rupees. Let's take the next problem. The next problem is this assessee S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta furnishes the following incomes and brought forward losses. Brought forward losses. So this is similar problem. There is no change as such. So the same problem, let's ignore it. Next one. This is a different problem. Let's solve this problem. This problem is of the SSC S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta, and he furnishes the following incomes and brought forward losses. I don't see any brought forward losses, but there is a long-term capital loss only. In this case, income from salary, income from speculative business. Okay, there is a non-speculative business loss, capital, long-term capital loss, and winnings from lotteries, and income from activity of owning and maintaining of horses. So let's solve the problem by following step 1, step 2, and step 3. Step 1 is intra head adjustments within the same source of income adjustment or set of number 1. Number 2, inter head adjustments if it is required. Inter head adjustments means set off against different incomes as per the rules and regulations of setting of a carry forward of losses. And if required, there is no question of set for carry forward of losses, because this problem doesn't have any carry forward of losses. So let's solve the problem. So first step is intra head. Let's intra-head adjustment, intra-head source of income adjustment. So let's solve it. Income from salary is 5 lakh rupees. Income from speculation business is 10 lakh rupees. So he did some speculation business and he was fortunate enough to make a profit of 10 lakh rupees. But however, this guy had sustained a loss of 8 lakh rupees from a non-speculative or regular or normal or ordinary business, which is not a speculative business. And as per the rule, speculative non-speculative business loss can be set off against non-speculative business income as well as speculative business profits or income. So this 8 lakh rupees can be set off against this 10 lakh rupees, and income from speculation business after deducting this set adjusting or setting of 8 lakh rupees is 2 lakh rupees. Now next one is short-term capital gain. Short-term capital gain is 10 lakh rupees. In winnings from lotteries is 2 lakh rupees. And the income from activity of owning and maintaining of horses is 5 lakh rupees. Now the question arises, what about this long-term capital loss? Please remember very important rule I am just discussing with you. Long-term capital loss can be set off against long-term capital gain only. So here there is no long-term capital gain, and hence this cannot be set off because there is no long-term capital gain. Whereas short-term capital loss can be set off against short-term capital gain as well as long-term capital gain. These are the rules for intra-head adjustments. So that's the reason why this long-term capital loss cannot be set off against this, because long-term capital loss can only be set off against long-term capital gain only. Means long-term capital loss if is there, then it should be set off against long-term capital gain only and should not look for setting off against any other source of income. So long-term capital loss can be set off only against long-term capital gain. Therefore, long-term capital loss can be carried forward to next assessment year since long-term capital gain is not there in assessment year 2021. So hope this problem is also clear. Let's do the next problem. The next problem is Mr. S. Ramesh Kumar Mehta is the assessee and he furnishes the following information about his incomes and brought forward losses. However, it's not apparent on the face of it, and there is no brought forward losses. Let's look at the incomes. Income from salary, income from house property, business loss, loss from specified business, and short-term capital gain short-term capital loss and long-term capital gain. So let's solve the problem. So income from there are five sources of income as I already told: salary income, house property income, business income, and under this we have three: speculative business income, non-speculative business income, and specified business income. Long-term capital gain under capital gain and short-term capital gain and income from other sources. So that's a uh, procedure we'll follow. Let's solve the problem. So income from salary, income under the head salary, income under the head salary is 5 lakh rupees. Okay, income under the head house property is 1 lakh rupees. Okay, now next one is, so we have shown these two as incomes. Now let's talk about business loss. As I told you in my earlier classes, business loss can be set off against normal business. This I assume it is a normal business. This normal business loss can be set off against normal business income. But however, there is no normal business income. But however, there is income from house property. Remember, business loss can be set off against uh, income from house property under inter-source adjustment. But this cannot be set off against income from salary. So that's the reason why this 4 lakh rupees of loss of the current year can be set off against this income from house property. So I have set off. So this business loss of 1 lakh rupees is set off, and that's the reason why income from the house property is zero. But still, how much is unset off out of this 4 lakh rupees, which could not be set off, is 3 lakh rupees. So business loss is 4 lakh rupees. Business loss is 4 lakh rupees, but it could not. It could be set off to the tune of only 1 lakh rupees. So here, after setting off, so let's look at the other. Okay, let's set off against long-term capital gain. Now there is a long-term capital gain here of 5 lakh rupees. Okay, so long-term capital gain was there. So already out of this 4 lakh rupees of business loss, 1 lakh rupees was set off against income from house property, and the remaining 3 lakh rupees is set off against business, sorry, long-term capital gain. Long-term capital gain, as well as I'm just repeating once again, there was a loss of 4 lakh rupees from business, which is I consider and assume that this is a regular business. So there was no business gains. So we have to go for inter head adjustments. That is the second step. So the second step says that this 4 lakh rupees loss, which is from the business, cannot be set off against income from salary. The reason is simple. The reason is simple and straight. Maybe the government doesn't permit the assessee to do business as well as salary. because it encourages to be an employee on a very lighter note. The simple reason is that there is every probability that the assessee can duplicate his amount and deliberately show a loss from the business. And if the income tax rules permit to show this loss of income or set off this loss of income against salary, then everybody will start manipulating his accounts and eventually evade tax or try to manipulate taxes. That's the reason why business loss cannot be set off against income from salary or salary income under intersource adjustments. So let's do the problem from where we were left. So here the loss from business was 4 lakh rupees. So this loss of 4 lakh rupees business can be set off 1 lakh rupees against against 1 lakh rupees of income of house property, and there was a long term capital gain to the tune of 5 lakh rupees, but out of this 5 lakh rupees 3 lakh rupees can be utilized for setting off this the remaining amount of business loss. So that is what has been precisely done, and hence because of this reason, if you look carefully, the income from business is zero. So income from salary is 5 lakhs, income from house property is zero. Now let's talk about the loss of a specified business, the this point. So we have covered this, we have covered this, we have covered this. A part of this has been covered. Loss of specified business, already told in the previous session. Loss of a specified business can be set off against a profit of a specified business only. You should not set off against any other incomes or any under any inter source income, interhead income. So this will remain as it is and it will be carried forward for indefinite period of time as stated by the rules. Next one is income from capital gains. So the income from capital gains is 5 lakh rupees long term capital gain, and less, as I told you in my previous classes, long term short term capital loss can be set off against long term capital gain as well as short term capital gain. In this case, there is no short term capital gain, hence the short term capital loss can be set off against long term capital gain. So out of this 5 lakh rupees, 1 lakh rupees can be set off. Number one. Number two, business loss. So we have already set off a business loss against a long term capital gain, which is here, if you look carefully, 3 lakh rupees. So 5 lakhs minus 1 lakh rupees is the short term capital loss which has been set off. Number one. Number two, I have set off long against this long term capital gain previously a business loss of 3 lakh rupees. So 5 lakhs minus 1 lakh minus 3 lakhs is equal to 4 lakh rupees, is equal to 5 lakhs minus 1 lakhs minus 3 lakhs is equal to 1 lakh rupees. So this is income from salary, no income from house property, no business income, but however there is a capital gain income of 1 lakh rupees. Total income is 6 lakh rupees. So hope you have enjoyed my session, and these are the numerical problems I wanted to do. And if you have any doubts, you can get back to me on my WhatsApp number and email ID shared. Thank you so much for patience listening. God bless you. Bye bye. Take care and lead a happy life and keep smiling and stay home, stay safe. Thank you so much. Bye bye.